G'day, I'm Pete and I'm the Aussie Bush Cop. I'm going to be sharing with you some stories about my time in the New South Wales Police Force. I had a tumultuous time as a police officer up there, and because of that I decided to retire and move to this beautiful island in the middle of Bass Strait called King Island, where I became a homesteader. I had chickens and ducks and highland cattle and a whole bunch of stuff going on where this is my cure for being in the New South Wales Police Force, and look forward to sharing my stories with you. G'day, how you doing? I hope you're well and happy. I'm just going to tell you another story, and I'll recap the little bit I told you last time. It's about the arrest of a fellow that I'll call John. And John was living with his mother. John is an adult and living with his mother, and his mother came to the police station and wanted him put out of the house because he'd threatened to cut her throat. And so the inspector organised 2 lots of police, that's 4 police, to go down to his home. So we went down to his home, and his mother was in the first police truck and my partner and I were in the second. And we were just there in an ancillary role, meaning like a backup role. So we got down there, and this is a nice part of town, not where we normally went. And what I was immediately aware of when we got there is that he came out of the house. We got out of our trucks and the suspects came out of the house brandishing 2 large carving knives. And for some reason or other, he gravitated towards me. There was 4 police, but he gravitated towards me. And so I immediately took out, unholstered my .40 calibre pistol and aimed it at his chest. And from that point on, it ensued an arrest at gunpoint. Gunpoint meaning he was about 10 metres away. And so what happened, I gained rapport with this man. I knew his name. I made a point of using his name, and all we wanted him to do was to put down the knives, and then we would take him into custody and do what we had to do after that. But he didn't want that to happen, and I know enough about the human psyche to know that the best thing to do in situations like that is to give as much freedom as I could to him. Because the worst thing that you could do is to contain him too much, because he then becomes like a powder keg and just wants to blow up. So one of the things that I learnt, curiously enough, I didn't learn it in the police, I learned it when I did a communication course once. And I said to him, John, how do you want this to end? Bearing in mind, I'm pointing a pistol at his chest. And he said, probably in response to my question, how do you want this to end, John? He said, shoot me in the legs. I said, John, you won't be shot in the legs. I said, you will be shot in the chest. Now, it was probably unknown to him at that point that all the time I wasn't actually pointing the pistol at his chest. As per our operating procedures, I was pointing the pistol probably around his groin or even his knees. And it's very easy to bring the pistol up on target. And what happened during this 20 minutes where I'd gained rapport, I was speaking very calmly, because I know that to speak calmly, people respond to that. And what he wanted, he probably just wanted to go home, or I don't know exactly what he wanted, but he didn't want to come into custody. So then on a number of occasions, actually 3 occasions, he went to break his stride. And what he did, he moved his torso towards me. Of course, that was in a very threatening mode, very threatening move. And when he did that, my pistol automatically came up on target, meaning his chest. And if he then broke his stride and ran towards me, he would have been shot. And I would have continued to shoot until he was on the ground. Now, that's a really graphic thing to say. Even now, it sounds horrible. And a number of people have said to me over the years, why don't you just shoot people in the legs? Well, invariably, that comment is made by people that have never used a pistol. It's not like Dirty Harry, and we shoot to stop, and that means you get shot in the chest. So after this happened, and eventually, after more talking and more soothing talk, he put the knives on the ground and he stepped back. What I then did, myself, and there was 2 senior constables, that was my rank. There was 2 senior constables there, and we moved in slowly but assuredly. And he was, like I said before, John was a big man, at least 6'2" tall, and weighing certainly in excess of 100 kilograms. And we moved in, and I gently took hold of him, turned him around, and moved him to a car. It was just a civilian car that was there, and put him up against the car. And he said to me in a very childlike manner, he said, "Don't hurt me, don't hurt me." Anyway, he was handcuffed. We put him in the cage. Cage meaning, if you're not from Australia, every police truck, General Duty's police truck is called a caged truck, which means it's a cage literally on the back of the truck. And he was put in there, and he was taken away to the police station and charged with a number of offences. One of the things that was in my mind during this arrest was this self-talk, Peter, do everything right. Of course, I wanted to do everything right, but it was quite evident in my mind because where we were was a nice part of town, and the presence of police in the middle of the afternoon in this street meant there would have been maybe 100 people up and down the street with their curtains pulled aside, looking out to see what happened. And it was in my mind that if I killed him, there would have been a coronial inquest into the matter. And I knew there'd be about 100 witnesses for coroner's court. This was in a time when there was no video recording from myself, or unlikely to be from anybody else. So, of course, I didn't want to kill him. I didn't want to hurt anybody. But I certainly had to resolve the situation. And he was taken to the station, and we charged him with a number of offences, one of them being resisting arrest, and the other one was using a weapon to avoid apprehension. But he was found not guilty on all matters because under the Mental Health Act, he was deemed to be not capable of committing a criminal offence. Next time we talk, I'll tell you about another incident with the same man that happened a few months later. Thanks for watching and listening.